Welcome back to our channel, Soap Squad. Today is a beautiful, drama-filled day to unpack the absolute insanity going down in the chaotic world of Fairmont Crest. This is it, people. The moment the mask finally slips, the lies implode, and the lethal poison runs deep. We are witnessing absolute, unadulterated savagery in Fairmont Crest, and nothing will ever be the same again. Let's set the stage for this catastrophic meltdown. We all know that Jacob Hawthorne's commendation was supposed to be a monumental event, a gathering of the Hawthorne and Dupree families to celebrate a man who has been through absolute hell fighting the plasma ring. Naturally, as Jacob is married to Naomi Hawthorne, Danny Dupree's daughter, Bill Hamilton, should have been front and center. He is family, or at least tied to this family by deep, unbreakable bonds. But Hayley Hamilton, the ultimate master manipulator, had a completely different diabolical plan. She spun a web of deceit so thick, so venomous, that she managed to completely blindside her own husband, keeping him entirely in the dark about the event. Why? Because she absolutely despises the Duprees, and more importantly, she is terrified of Bill's lingering connection to his ex-wife, Danny. The tension officially kicks off when Chelsea Hamilton innocently approaches Bill, asking him the one question that shatters his entire reality. Why weren't you at Jacob's commendation? Imagine the sheer humiliating embarrassment washing over Bill in that exact moment. I am telling you, the look on his face is pure devastation. He is a high-powered attorney, a man who prides himself on being in control, and yet he has been played for an absolute fool by his own wife. But Bill, trying to save face and protect his fractured pride, lies to Chelsea. He covers for Hayley, pretending he knew all along but was simply too tied up with work. But inside, a raging inferno is brewing. The humiliation is burning him alive. How could Hayley do this? How could she make him look like a negligent, uncaring outsider to his own extended family? But the real explosive shockwave hits when Bill returns to his office. This is the moment of brutal discovery. Bill is pacing, his mind racing, trying to make sense of Hayley's supposed oversight. And then he sees it. Right there, discarded in the office trash can, like a piece of meaningless garbage, is the beautifully printed invitation to Jacob's commendation. But it's not just thrown away, it is violently, deliberately torn to shreds. The torn pieces of cardstock are a literal metaphor for what Hayley is trying to do to Bill's life. Rip him away from his loved ones, shred his connections, and isolate him completely. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a slip of the mind. This was a calculated, savage act of sabotage. This brings us to the ultimate showdown. Bill Hamilton versus Hayley Hamilton. When Bill finally corners her, the sheer audacity of this woman will make your blood boil. He holds up the shredded pieces of the invitation, his voice trembling with a mix of utter betrayal and unyielding fury. And how does Hayley react? Does she cower? Does she apologize? No. She looks him dead in the eye with the cold, dead gaze of a sociopath and calmly states that she just forgot because she was so busy. Are you kidding me right now? She actually expects him to believe that she accidentally tore a formal invitation into tiny pieces and threw it in the trash because she was busy. The blatant disrespect is staggering. She is treating him like he is stupid. And I can assure you, that is the absolute worst mistake you can make with a man like Bill Hamilton. Everything just changed in this marriage. In that freezing, tension-filled moment, the veil is completely lifted from Bill's eyes. He sees the ugly, undeniable truth. This isn't about her being forgetful. This is a deliberate, malicious attempt to sever his ties with the Dupree family. He realizes, with horrifying clarity, that Hayley is desperately trying to build a fortress around him, cutting off his access to Danny, to Naomi, to anyone who might pull his attention away from her. She wants him isolated, vulnerable, and entirely dependent on her. The psychological warfare she is waging is absolutely barbaric. She is trying to erase his past to control his future. Let's talk about the deep-rooted, obsessive jealousy that is driving Hayley's madness. I mean, we all know the history here. Bill and Danny Dupree share a massive, complicated past. They share children, they share decades of memories, and recently they have been sharing some incredibly flirty, nostalgic banter. Danny has been schooling Bill on their past, and Hayley knows that she can never, ever compete with the ghost of a decades-long marriage. Hayley is deeply insecure, constantly looking over her shoulder, terrified that Bill will wake up one day and realize he belongs with Danny. That is exactly why she cannot stomach the idea of Bill attending a Dupree family function. The thought of Bill laughing, mingling, and bonding with Danny, Naomi, and Chelsea makes Hayley physically sick. Her desperation to erase Danny from Bill's life is the exact reason she is willing to resort to such extreme psychotic measures. And then the volcano erupts. This is war. Bill does not just get mad. He goes absolutely nuclear. The rage pouring out of him is primal, explosive, and terrifying. He screams at her, his voice echoing off the walls, completely shattering her calm facade. But he doesn't just use his words to destroy her. He hits her where it hurts the absolute most. Bill looks at this scheming, manipulative woman and drops the ultimate hammer. He is cutting off her access to all of their joint bank accounts. Boom. Financial excommunication. He strips her of her power, her resources, and her safety net in one swift, brutal execution of authority. You are staying right here, he commands her, treating her like a disobedient child. He forces her to remain trapped in the house, completely grounded and financially paralyzed, while he storms out to head to the country club to grovel and apologize to the Hawthornes. The sheer humiliation of being ordered to stay home while her husband goes to make amends with the very people she tried to keep him away from is a massive blow to Hayley's massive ego. But the loss of the money? That is the true catastrophe for her. Let's dive deep into the chaotic psychology of Hayley Hamilton in this exact moment. On the outside, she looks like a scolded wife, but internally she is spiraling into a state of absolute sheer panic. Why? Because that money isn't just for designer clothes and country club lunches. That joint bank account is her lifeline for her darkest, most lethal secret. She desperately needs those funds to maintain her steady supply of the black market toxic serum she has been secretly using to poison Bill. I have to remind you guys about what happened just days ago at the country club. Bill tried to get physically affectionate with Hayley, wrapping his arms around her, and she sharply, aggressively rejected him. Why? Because she is literally hiding the vials of that toxic poison serum right there near her chest. She is carrying the murder weapon on her own body, living in constant paranoid fear of being caught. Now, with her bank accounts frozen, how is she going to pay her black market supplier? By cutting off her cash flow, Bill has unknowingly severed her access to her murder weapon. If she can't pay her shady contacts, the poison stops. If the poison stops, Bill recovers. If Bill recovers, her entire master plan to inherit his wealth and eliminate him goes up in smoke. She is trapped in a nightmare of her own making. But the universe has a sick, twisted sense of irony, doesn't it? As Bill's fury reaches a boiling point, the intense adrenaline and skyrocketing blood pressure act as a massive catalyst for the poison already coursing through his veins. The venom Hayley has been secretly feeding him is suddenly activated by his extreme emotional distress. Right before our eyes, we see the terrifying physical manifestation of Hayley's betrayal. Bill's breathing becomes ragged. His vision blurs. And then, the ultimate sign of his deteriorating health strikes with horrifying vengeance. Bill reaches for a simple glass of water, trying to calm his racing heart, trying to wash down the bitter taste of his wife's betrayal. But his hands, those strong, capable hands that have commanded courtrooms and built an empire, begin to violently, uncontrollably tremble. He can't stop it. The neurological damage from the toxic serum is taking over his motor functions. The tremors we've seen hinting in the past, the ones Joey Armstrong noticed, are now a full-blown physical breakdown. He loses his grip. The glass slips from his trembling fingers and crashes onto the floor, shattering into 1,000 jagged pieces. The sound of that breaking glass is the exact sound of Bill Hamilton's life falling apart. And how does our resident Black Widow react to this horrifying display of medical distress? This is where the true chilling horror of Hayley Hamilton shines. As she watches her husband physically crumble, unable to even hold a glass of water, a sickening wave of euphoric joy washes over her dark soul. She is celebrating in her head. She sees the poison working. She sees him breaking down, becoming weak, frail, and utterly defenseless. Her financial panic momentarily subsides as she realizes that her lethal groundwork is paying off beautifully. She is watching him die slowly, and she absolutely loves it. I cannot believe the sheer wickedness of this woman, but, of course, she cannot let him see her twisted satisfaction. In a masterclass of psychopathic manipulation, Hayley instantly drops to her knees, her face painted with faux concern and sickly sweet sympathy. She pretends to be the loving, worried wife, carefully picking up the broken glass while cooing at him with that venomous fake voice. "Oh, darling, look what you've done. You shouldn't get so angry over my silly little forgetfulness. It's bad for your health," she purrs, gaslighting him into oblivion. She is literally blaming his physical collapse on his anger over her mistake, completely masking the fact that she is the one actively murdering him from the inside out. The sheer, unadulterated evil of this woman is unmatched. She is using his own righteous anger against him, weaponizing his emotions to cover up her attempted murder. Bill is standing there, looking down at his shaking hands, completely unaware that the woman comforting him is the very architect of his demise. He thinks he is just stressed. He has absolutely no idea that he is sleeping next to his own executioner. The psychological manipulation is so deep, so profound, that it leaves you screaming at the television screen. "Wake up, Bill! Open your eyes before it is too late." The storyline has officially crossed the point of no return. The financial cutoff means Hayley is going to become more desperate, more reckless, and infinitely more dangerous. A cornered rat is a deadly rat, and Hayley Hamilton is currently backed against a wall with no money and a half-poisoned husband. Will Joey Armstrong connect the dots about Bill's tremors before the final dose is administered? Will Tomas Navarro uncover the truth about Hayley's shady dealings? Or will Bill's own failing body give out before he can realize that his wife is the true monster hiding in plain sight? The clock is ticking, the poison is spreading, and the explosive fallout is going to shake Fairmont Crest to its very core. Don't miss what happens next. The stakes have never been higher, and this lethal game of cat and mouse is about to turn into a full-blown bloodbath. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and sound off in the comments below. Do you think Bill will figure out the truth, or will Hayley secure her deadly victory? Stay tuned, Soap Squad, because the drama is just getting started.